I think probably just how much we had in common with them. I was somewhat surprised when we went there to see how similar we were, despite the fact that we had grown up in very different political or religious circumstances.
When I think about the time there, I think that I remember how happy they are, how easy they are to get along with. But they're just open. They wanted to learn from us. They wanted to learn about Canada. They wanted to listen to our message. It was just very simple. They were happy to hear us. They didn't, just dismiss us because we were strangers coming into their classroom.
I was just captivated by the stories that the kids would tell us. They would, start off telling us stories of their childhood dreams and aspirations, and in the next breath tell us of like the severe loss of family members within the last year, even just in the last couple of months. And I just felt so privileged that they would share something like that with us without even really knowing us. And so that really challenged me to be transparent in my own life and be more vulnerable in my own life. So that is definitely something I will remember from this trip.
I think what I'll remember most is sort of the seriousness that the youth actually took the program, the workshops in Belfast. I had sort of an idea of what to expect working with the children in Oxford School, but we got to Belfast, we sort of got working with the kids there. It sort of took that level of dealing with our workshops from bullying or family issues and added the context that the youth there have to deal with.
Having the students respond to the presentations and get excited about them and want to answer questions and want to be involved in the games and the skits was really rewarding, because it really spoke to me of, they're connecting with the material and they were grasping the concepts. Even their answers were just so insightful beyond what I had expected, and I found that incredibly rewarding.
It would be that I had the opportunity to go twice, and so going back was probably the most amazing experience, because a couple of the schools we went into, they remembered us. They remembered me personally once, but they remembered us and saying, you came last year. Going to different schools and having that was just incredible, knowing that this is actually making a difference. The students are remembering. It's not just 1 week of their life and then all of a sudden they forget it. They actually know that we made some sort of difference, or at least in their mindset, and they couldn't probably have recited everything, but they were able to tell me, oh, you came and you talked to us about empathy, and that was really amazing. I think that, they remember us crazy Canadian kids sometimes, but I also think the one thing that they do remember is that we were just bringing a message of peace. And if they could remember the next time they get into a conflict, go through a couple of the things we talked about, they remember one time to just stop and think for a second, I would be happy with that. And I think, in a classroom of 30, I think that you could get that 15 of them do that you've changed, you've made a difference. And I really do think that we were able to do that.
I would hope that they do and would take away our messages of communication and understanding, and how physical violence isn't the answer.
I definitely remember our accents, and the girls at the all-girls St. Bernadette's Grammar School will definitely remember the boys from our team. They were kind of celebrities. But aside from that, I really hope that they remember that peace is attainable. It's hard, but it's attainable, and there are people in other countries who will support them and support the youth in, standing up and saying things need to change.
I think because we're in a fairly privileged position, that we have access to a lot of resources and opportunities such as these that allow us to apply our knowledge in creative ways and try and make a difference as best we can.
I think as a group of university students, we're able to relate to the students, and for them to feel like they can relate to us just on that academic level and that student level. And also as well, I think because we are the university students, we're also able to interact with the faculty, and we had some amazing conversations with them as well during our time there. And so I think sort of being that transition group really allowed us to have influence and be welcomed into both demographics with the students and the faculty at the schools.
They can sort of look up to us in a sense, and for us as university students, we're able to connect with them because we're, for the most part, we're also right out of like high school and stuff like that, and we still know what it's like to be a kid and to interact and hang out at their level. And so there's definitely a bigger connection that comes across, because as a university student we can empathize.
Well, as a first-year graduate student in international development, I found that this trip was deeply connected to my program. First of all, it gave me an opportunity to gain work experience on the international level.
This program has absolutely exploded who I'm hanging out with and who I'm interacting with and socializing with. Has really driven forth my university experience in general, because meeting people from business or other programs that I normally wouldn't get to know really provided an absolute amazing year for this year.
I definitely would like to study more in the conflict resolution side of things. I've been looking at some different electives in my program that sort of focus on conflict resolution. I think that's something that going into particularly global business management would be a real asset to have even more training.
I've always wanted to do is I've wanted to lead youth and do different trips like that. And so this, being the student coordinator this year, helped me realize that it's exactly what I wanted to do. I was pretty sure before, but this just made me realize, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. I want to lead youth and have these cross-cultural experiences with them, because I got to have that when I was younger and it changed my world, and I'm glad that I now see it changing other people's, so it's definitely helped.